Hi, this is Engelbert Humperdinck, and you're checking out the Mitch, Lafon, and Jeremy White show.
Yes,
There you go.
awesome.
Thank you.
Now back to the Mitch Lafon and Jeremy White show.
All right, let's get it going. Our next guest is a member of the most excellent order of the British Empire. Has sold over 150 million records worldwide. He makes his big return to Montreal. Sell Wilfrid Pelletier, Place des Arts this May 22nd. Of course, totally sold out. Please welcome back to the show, actually for the first time ever, the one, the only, Mr. Engelbert Humperdinck. There he is.
There you go.
Nice to be talking with you.
Absolutely. Let me just ask you this. You have, of course, still been releasing albums up until 2018, Christmas albums and other things. What keeps you motivated to get into the studio and still do that? Because, listen, you could show up to Wilfrid Pelletier and play, and people just want to hear the hits. Why keep going?
I just love what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it until God calls me. And I've got a great following, and things seems to be happening now. Sort of a rebirth of my career is happening again. I don't know whether you know this. The Disney Plus series Marvel.
Yeah.
That's on Marvel. It's called Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. Well, they feature one of my songs that I recorded 55 years ago. There's a rebirth of it. It's been on Spotify, 15 million views.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing. And now I'm getting, a younger audience, which is fantastic, because they're writing some wonderful things. They're saying that they discovered my music and they like it.
Well, look at Jeremy right there. He's only 28. But let me just quickly ask you about, you said, until God calls you. When you were younger, you had tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And the priest came in and gave you the last rites. And talk to me about that. And how impactful was that on your life, where you just said, okay, I got a second chance. I'm going to grab this.
Well, I don't know. But I was speaking to my mother, and I said, Mom, when I was in the hospital, they're so nice that a priest came in and spoke to me for a whole hour when I entered the hospital. And now I'm negative, and I'm moving to the bigger part. I was there for 6 months, by the way, in hospital. And I said, the priest talked to me for over an hour. She said, yes, son, she was giving you the last rites. And that scared the heck out of me. It really did,
I'll bet.
But I was given a second chance, and I've taken the opportunity of it. And I looked for a career, and I found a manager who changed my name and changed my life, and got a song called "Release Me" that was #1 around the world, and I sold 150 plus albums, and 50 million albums plus,
and let's not forget, Release Me, by the way, you kept the Beatles' Strawberry Fields at bay. They could not get to #1 because of it. It's your fault.
Yes. And they had a double single. They had Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields, which is a double-sided single. And then they never got to, that was the 13th, it was going to be the 13th #1.
What was life like for you at that time competing against the Beatles? Because they were the Beatles, and you come in and just completely dethrone them, essentially. I mean, what was your life like at that time?
Well, I tell you, it scared the daylights out of me, because, the almighty Beatles, who I was a big fan of at that particular time, to know that a nobody like me came along and stopped the almighty Beatles, who, has had these one after the other hit #1s, but I'm thrilled because it made my career, and I think they didn't mind. I hope they didn't mind.
Yeah, that's a great story to tell.
Was it? Of course, it was Beatlemania. Was it like Engelbert mania? Were people chasing you in the streets?
Things did happen, because I grew the sideburns and it made my darken my hair, and I gave myself an image, at that particular time.
Yeah.
Let me quickly talk about image at that time. We, of course, had the Beatles going with their long hair, but then you have Screaming Jay Hawkins, you have, David Bowie, Alice Cooper, you have all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Were you ever tempted to try to go a little wilder and crazier in the show and become more theatrical, or did you already say, you know what? I sing, my voice is the show?
No, you know what? As far as dress and things like that,
Yeah.
concerned, well, I got pretty extravagant at one time. I had all the beaded outfits and everything, and as a matter of fact, I still have my costumes that I wore in the 60s and the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And I have a room full of clothes that I wore in that particular days, not only on my show, on live shows, but on television shows, and it was pretty glamorous stuff. I was very excited with that part of my
That's
life.
great. Speaking of glamorous, one thing that you've been very vocal about is not getting plastic surgery. You said, "I'm not going to do it. This is me."
No, well, I've got the wrinkles right now, but I'm not going to do anything about it, but
Yeah.
because God has been good to me, and I guess I got good genes from my parents. I was left with good genes. And at my age, I'm not going to start doing anything now. Why should I? And
You're gonna start looking like Joan Rivers did.
eh?
I said you'll start looking like Joan Rivers did, pulled back.
That's right. No, Joan was a lovely lady. She liked me, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to say a thing about
No,
her.
she was
Right.
great. She
Yeah.
was great. But
Then again, if she didn't like you, you got some really good zingers thrown your way. So,
yeah,
She didn't like you. You know she didn't like you.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
She
Mitch and I are
did
sitting
like
here
you.
with our. I was gonna say Mitch and I are sitting here with our Botox holding us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got no Botox.
Yeah.
I'm just old. But was there no pressure, through the 80s and 90s to, hey, you gotta do this and do that and the hair this, and was there no pressure to be,
Was that? Sorry, I didn't quite get the question.
I was just gonna say, since you sort of just went with what God gave you, was there no pressure from record companies or management that say, hey, come on, you gotta nip and tuck and you gotta be a better poster this, and were they not on your case to change?
No, I guess the record companies that I had in the past were quite content with my sales that I did on, because I didn't sell immediately. I'm like a long time person who sells over a period of time, and I found out, when it was about 5 or 6 years ago, a friend of mine was checking on me, and he said, you sold over 150 million albums. I said, wow, and I still have those trophies in my studio room downstairs, and I have some of them up here too, in my office, and I'm just very proud of the fact that I've been able to accumulate such an amount.
Right. With a career that spanned decades like yours has, you've seen every possible style of music come and go. You basically were around during the golden era of musicians, where some of the greatest were in the studio cutting stuff live off the floor. And as the decades go on, you get to the 80s, everything becomes computerized, and even today with the Pro Tools. What did you think of all of the technology coming into music, and how did you adapt your music to it?
You have to go along with what is going on. I think what is happening now has made life a lot easier. Like for instance, you don't have to go into a studio and record with all the musicians. You can wait and do it in your own sweet time. And you can put your tracks down early and then put your strings on later and do whatever you want to do, and it's made life a lot easier and nice to work that way.
Right. I mean, looking back at all those incredible musicians from the 60s and 70s, and now everybody just goes in and programs their drums on the Pro Tools grid. And do you miss that, being just in the studio with a group of musicians that just kill it every time and cut it live off the floor?
I personally like doing a live performance.
Yeah.
I personally love that. I think it's great to get that natural feel and nothing maneuvered. Everything is straightforward, like it is on stage. I mean, when you're on stage, you're actually it's like a recording, but it's you do your one time. If you make a mistake, there's no correction there. You can't correct a note or an instrument or anything like that. It's a live performance, and I love live. I love it live.
Yeah. And also, a lot of the times in those situations, I mean, some of the greatest moments come out of those, just the spontaneity in the studio or, yeah.
Genius. Yeah, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
You have any crazy stories about something like that happening back in the day?
well, um, in some of my live shows that were recorded, I've had wonderful moments because good things, little things that happen and that we kept in the show.
Yeah.
That accidents. An accident happened,
Happy accidents.
yeah, happy accident. We keep it in the show. Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. Yesterday, of course, was your birthday, and on Twitter, a picture showed up from 1967 with you, Jimi Hendrix, Cat Stevens, and Gary Walker.
Say that again, please.
I will. Yesterday, since it was your birthday, a lot of people were posting pictures of you,
Yeah,
and there was a picture of you with Jimi Hendrix that came up.
yeah.
What can you tell me about that? Do you remember that picture? And
I do. Jimmy was one of the nicest people I ever met, and he was being introduced to Europe, and they put him on tour with people like myself and the Walker Brothers, and one day my guitarist didn't show up, and he says, "Don't worry, man, I'll play for you," and he played backstage and for me for my entire show, and it sounded like three guitars behind him.
Wow.
He's such a great guy. And then and he was wearing this red coat. I said, Jimmy, that's a nice coat you got there. He says, "Do you want it, man? I'll give it to you right now." I wish I had taken it,
Well, you know what? That just goes to show how good of a guy he was. He would have given you the coat off his back.
Yeah, he was that kind of a guy. He was wonderful.
But what a story. I mean, his offstage musician was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
We hear stories of Ozzy having somebody in a vocal booth, or some of these bands having people, or a keyboard is hidden off stage, but you never hear of Jimi Hendrix hidden off stage. That's remarkable.
I think I was a very fortunate person to be involved with a great musician and a great performer like him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And especially music was changing so much at the time. What did you think of guys like Jimi Hendrix that were coming up on the scene?
What did I think of him?
Yeah.
I loved him. Well, that's one of the reasons why we put him on the show. We loved him so much,
Yeah.
and it's just a shame that he went too early in his life, because I think he was a genius and he created a style that the world was ready for.
Yeah. May 22nd, Cell Wilfrid Pelletier at Place des Arts in Montreal, Engelbert Humperdinck performing live. You've sold out every Montreal show since 2000, and we're going to keep the record going. What can Montrealers expect at this show this time around?
Well, I've just finished the European tour, and I finished at the London Palladium, and the reaction of the audience was so fantastic. I didn't want the show to end, the tour to end. But this particular section of this particular lot of music that I put out, I seem to go down very well with the audiences, and I thought, well, if it's going down great here, it's going to go great when I get to other parts of the world.
It is. And I'll wrap up with this question real quick. Your voice is still strong. It's still powerful. We love your voice. Oh, you having a hard time hearing me?
You went silent for a minute. Okay.
Oh, now you're back. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with our connection today. But anyway, just quickly talk to me about, have you done anything special to maintain your voice? I mean, do you have any kind of vocal exercises, or is it just, again, God's gift that you just have this fantastic voice that just doesn't fade over the years?
I'm going to tell you, I have never had a singing lesson in my life. And I just got this, I think I got it from my mother. She was a great singer, and but not a professional. She just sang well, privately. But I got this voice that I started off playing the saxophone, but I wasn't as good on the sax as I am with singing. So I'm glad my voice came out,
Right. And I bet you look a lot better holding the mic than you do a saxophone.
Yes, but
right.
He could have played for Foreigner, so he missed an opportunity. I'm just saying.
No.
Anyway, there you go.
I'm having a good time at the moment of my life, this moment in my life. Yes.
That's amazing. Do you think you got one more last studio record in the vault?
One more.
Do you think you got one more studio album maybe in the can? Do you think you?
Oh
maybe...
yeah, I'm working on one right now. I'm working on an album right now, and all the tracks were done in Nashville, Tennessee, and
wow.
With the great musicians over there. Of course, they are for country music, you know. And I haven't put my voice on yet. It's something I'm working on a slow basis. Now technology is coming to power, you know, and I will get it finished by the time July comes along.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Well, May 22nd, Cell Wilfrid Pelletier at Place des Arts in Montreal. Check out the absolute legend, the icon, Engelbert Humperdinck in concert. This was an absolute pleasure. So great to meet you. Just thank you for the music. And wow, this was awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.